The Japanese Secret Service Guide to the Fundamental Rules for Interrogating War Prisoners reveals that world. So this is a document, which I'm going to read a couple parts of how you torture people. Their process for torturing people. Number 62. Sometimes, depending on circumstances, it is advantageous to resort to torture. Torture, the infliction, number 63, torture, the infliction of physical suffering, must be sustained and continued in such a way that there shall be no other way of relief from suffering except by giving truthful information. Torture is advantageous because of the speed with which it is possible, with relative ease, to compel persons of weak will to give truthful testimony. But there is danger that, in order to relieve himself from suffering or in order to please the interrogator, the person interrogated will, on the contrary, distort the truth. In the case of a person's of strong will, torture may strengthen their will to resist and leave ill feeling against the empire after the interrogation. In relation to persons of weak will, torture is usually applied in those cases when the person interrogated does not speak the truth, even in the face of evidence, but there is full reason to suppose that this person will speak frankly if torture is applied. It is necessary to bear in mind that the methods of torture must be such as can easily be applied as will sustain suffering without rousing feelings of pity, and as will not leave either wounds or scars. So let's think about that right there. What they're saying is that the torture has to be so easy to apply that the person that's doing the torture won't feel sorry for him. However, in cases where it's necessary to create the apprehension of death, the harm caused to the person interrogated can be ignored, but this must be done in such a way as to not make it impossible to continue the interrogation. After the application of torture, it is necessary to convince the person who has undergone the torture that the torture applied to him was quite a natural measure, or to take such measures as will induce him, out of his sense of pride, sense of honor, etc., not to speak about it afterwards. So that's when you say, hey, look, we tortured you and you broke, and you're weak, and you should be embarrassed about it. Number 69. Nobody must know about this application of torture except the persons concerned with this. Under no circumstances must other prisoners know about it. It is very important to take measures to prevent shrieks from being heard. So they had their methodology. They had their standard operating procedures.